All right, welcome to the live stream. So, after playing with the new markdown notes that was added, that description area ends up being quite a bit larger. So that's what we're going to be looking to tackle today. So the plan is to build a view component that will wrap the note section, and this is going to give us the ability to if you have a content that's normally this big, we'll be able to hit a button. We'll be able to start off showing this and then hit a button to expand it, something along those lines. So let's get started with that. All right, so this is what we're kind of looking at here. We've got this big fat section here, which we want to get rid of. So what we really want to do is maybe cut this off at 1 or 2 lines, and then have a button you can click on to expand it. So what we really want to be doing is something where in our views, this is for the notes. So in here, we want to do something where we can do like, what was this? Max height. Oh, what are the... I always forget the max height. I don't know if it has the classes. Max height, yeah. So we can do max height, I don't know, 12. So if we do something like that, we then would want to have something underneath that kind of discloses, it says it's we'd have to have something in here that says, show more. I moved around my keyboard and stuff to try and make it easier to type, and I'm now having a hard time typing. So we'd have something like, oh, that was on a task. What am I looking at? Yeah, I'm looking at, so max flow, max height, and then overflow hidden. So that gives us this here. All right. So that's the type of thing that we want to be building. So let's go in here and we'll do a Rails G. I think we'll just do view component, and we're going to call this I don't know, content disclosure. Sure. All right, we have our view component, our HTML, spec and preview. Cool. So for the note, we're going to want to call this something along the lines of render. Sorry, I have a helper for this. So it's going to be component content disclosure. Wow, if I can type, that would really be helpful. So really, we're looking for something that looks like this. All right, so that gives us this here. So let's hop over back to that component. So in here, we're going to go div class equals max height. I think that was 12, and overflow hidden. We're going to instead be splitting out the content. All right, so that gives us another note, and this is where we'd want to have the div. Let's have some classes on it, but show all So they show more. All right. And let's make this, I don't know, text small, text gray 400, and text center. Okay. And maybe do something like a hover BG. We'll give this just a blue 400. Oof. So maybe to make it look interactive, we will do this. I don't know. Oh, that's good to note. I don't want this to all be I actually was cutting off the button there, but all right. And actually, let's change that into a button. Cool. All right. So that gives us our basic structure. That lets it not overflow. So that's good. But we need to do some things to make this interactive. So for starters, in here we want to have our size. And here we'll set, actually we'll leave that off by default. We'll go into here. We're gonna have a size, and we're gonna default that to medium. And in here we'll have a def of I don't know, max height class. And in here we'll go so if we do small, this is going to have some classes. Medium is going to have some classes, and large is going to have some classes that we're going to access. So in here we'll just do max height. That's why that looked weird. So if it's small, we're going to do max height of, I don't know, we'll do 12. I don't know, something like that. And that's the max height class. This is going to be going classes, size, max height. All right, so in here, instead of having our max height, we're going to pull in that max height class. So let's take a look and make sure that did that. So this is getting max height 24. And if I go over here where I'm calling it, I can go size large. and get a max height 36. So that's working perfect. Okay, and actually, we probably want to have a none. Let's try using the right code. Cool. All right. So that looks good. Let's take that off. Okay. We're actually going to need a stimulus controller as well to do the dynamic toggling. So we're going to do Rails G stimulus, and we'll do the same thing: content disclosure. Yeah, I'm just thinking for a moment. So this doesn't really have much to do with the content disclosure. This is going to be a toggle and button. So this really is like a classes toggle. Actually, no, I'm going to keep this as a content. So I could make this something that's generic that just toggles the classes. So when you click on a button, it adds and removes. But I think that when we actually build this out, kind of fully flesh it out, we're going to want to have it so it scales the size, so it doesn't just snap. So it's just not going to just toggle the class. So for right now, I'm going to leave this as content disclosure, and yeah, we'll have to look at that. So in here, we're going to have a data controller, and for our content disclosure. And let's just make sure that's wired in right. Yay. All right, let's kill that. So we're gonna have our content and toggles. Well, actually the toggle's not gonna really do anything. So let's, well, yeah, we will. Well, let's leave it off for now. We're gonna have to come back to that though. So we're gonna make the actual action here, which is going to be to toggle. All right. So in our component, we've got our data controller content disclosure, data content disclosure, class value, which I think we're gonna want to change that to the classes API, which we'll get to. I've actually used, I've heard of it, where it does special stuff for classes specifically. So let's do that, and let's just make sure that I've wired that up right. So this is going to be this dot. So this is going to be the values. What do I call you? You are the max height. So this dot max height value. All right. So max height 24, beautiful. Okay, so that's wired in. Okay. So with this, what we want to do is when you click toggle, this dot content target class list dot, I think I go toggle this dot max height value. All right, and if I hop back over to the component, we can do a data action content disclosure toggle. I don't want this to do anything, so we're going to prevent. Actually, I'll bake that in. Ooh, something's going weird here. Yep, let's do that. Cannot click, it's missing the content target naturally. So data content disclosure target all right. Let's see if we can do that without blowing stuff up. Undefined is not. Let's throw a debugger in here. Just a ton target class. Oh, capital list. Let's inspect that. All right. That's the content disclosure content. Oh, it's because it doesn't actually have that tall. So there we go. All right. So that is working. Okay. So here's one thing that we'd want to, so that's enough to kind of get things working. Now for something like this, we don't want to show that show more. So in our next video, what we'll do, because it looks like kids are happening in the other room, we're going to want to do a little bit of stimulus to check the size of the target. And if the size of the target isn't constrained, then we want to remove that show more button because it's not necessary. And that's why we're going to want to have the toggle as a target. So then in here, we can do something like and this got to happen in a loop because it could resize and whatnot. So let's just say it is true. This is where we can do something, and this will be happening on a resize handler. So if it's got constraint height, then what would this be? This dot toggle targets dot each, and we do t dot class list dot add hidden, actually else remove. I think I can actually use the toggle to do the same type of thing. Anyways, so if we did that, so it is constraint, so it's showing them, but then if it's not constraint, it's still showing them. That's why I haven't flagged it as being a issue. Did I call it toggler? I'm gonna call it toggler. If not, it's a toggler. Well, I'm doing something wrong there, but togglers, targets. You rename stuff. All the meta programming has to change, and it's still not working. Oh, because I'm not calling the resize handler. Woo. Air connecting controller. Anyways, that's the idea. I'm gonna have to work on that a little bit, but this gives us kind of the skeleton of what we're looking to do a nice simple show more type of setup. And what's nice is that if there's something that makes sense, it's easy enough to go in here and do size none. And this is actually where you could do so right now it says show more. We could have this say show instead of the size none. So there's a few ways that we could tackle this, but that's the idea. All right, take care.